So Devin and Niall, it's actually great to be with you both face to face after 2 years of doing these videos remotely. Today's discussion is going to be about the IATF Auditor Guide. So what we're going to be doing is exploring a little bit about the purpose of the guide, the way the guide is structured, and how it can be used by third-party auditors, second-party auditors, internal auditors. And then after this video, we're going to be doing a theme around the process approach to auditing. So Devin, can you tell us a little bit about the purpose of the IATF Auditor Guide?
Absolutely. So the purpose of the Auditor Guide is to outline the entire IATF audit process, as well as establish those competencies we expect the auditors performing these IATF audits to have.
Right, okay. And now, is it primarily then been written in the context for third-party auditors, or
no, it has. It's sort of its origins were to support third-party auditors. I think within the IATF scheme, the emphasis has always been on auditors and their certification bodies being responsible for developing their competency. So the IATF created this auditor guide to support auditors and certification bodies. And that's kind of the origins of the auditor guide. But I think the most recent revision, which was in 2019 to the 4th edition, has been, I would say, a bit revolutionary in terms of the content and more the application. It is as useful for anybody undertaking audits. So whilst its origins and it's a fundamental part of how we train and qualify new third-party auditors, it is equally useful for any auditor to help them improve their knowledge and their competency.
And that's useful for the viewers to know. Devin, can you tell us a little bit about the way it's structured then?
Yeah, so when you first open the Auditor Guide, you have your introduction, describes the purpose and what the content that you will see, followed by sections 1 and 2 are the actual audit process and step-by-step layouts, and then explanations underneath the process flows. The third section is the auditor competencies and what the IATF expects auditor skills to be for each of those competencies.
Right, okay, and I guess that's the section that if I'm an IATF certified company and I want to define a criteria for my internal or second party auditors, that section will probably be the most relevant to me there.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Completely agree.
And now the way that section is structured then, the essential auditing criteria, just explain a little bit about that structure.
Yeah. And just on the essential auditing criteria, that's really the IATF focused stuff as opposed to the general auditing criteria, which is also in the auditor guide, which is much more general around timekeeping, communication. The way the guide is structured, it defines a set of knowledge expectations. So you would expect against one of the essential competencies, and there are 5 of them, you would see the knowledge that the auditor would be expected to know, and then there will be a separate column which would be almost the skills that that auditor would be expected to exhibit. So it focuses on the knowledge and on the skills, again by what we call essential competency, and there are 5 of those essential competencies.
Right, okay. So if I was observing a person undertaking the audit, I guess the skills part would probably be the most important part.
Yeah.
Okay. And Devin, Niall mentioned about the 5 essential competencies. Could you just give us a very quick overview of those?
Absolutely. So the 5 essential competencies, we have process approach, we have the knowledge of IATF 16949 and application of IATF 16949, knowledge and application of rules for certification, and then we have core tools and customer specific requirements.
Right, okay. And this series is going to be focusing on the process approach, incorporating risk-based thinking section of the Auditor Guide. So we're going to delve into that in far more detail.
Yeah, the IATF standard, the rules, process approach, core tools and customer specific requirements, and NC management.
Yeah.
And again, one of the big changes in the 4th edition was actually introducing lots of non-conformity writing guidance into the Auditor Guide. That was one of the sort of big changes, along with core tools as well.
Okay, so I guess now is probably a good time to summarize then. So I think the Auditor Guide is a really valuable document, not just for third-party auditors, but for a criteria for internal and second-party auditors. It's a document that can be easily purchased through the 5 oversight offices' websites. It's a document that, particularly the essential auditing criteria section, is probably the most relevant for auditor qualification, in the fact that we have the 5 essential criteria, the process approach incorporating risk-based thinking, the knowledge and application of IATF, the knowledge and application of the rules, customer-specific requirements incorporating the core tools, and non-conformity management. So I would strongly encourage those of you that are watching that are interested in the competencies of auditors to go and purchase this guide if you haven't already, because there is some really valuable information within it.